Hello and welcome to another video podcast of the MES tool release highlights for the summer 2023 release. My name is Jan, I'm from MES, and today I'm very happy to discuss the latest tool highlights of the MES Model Examiner MXAM, and that's why Kai here is with me. Hello Kai.
Hello and welcome.
So we are going to look into the latest release of the MES Model Examiner, and that is the version 9.2. And I think there are quite some interesting new things that I'm happy to talk with you about today, Kai. And let's start with a very interesting new check that we have. And this check identifies duplicated Stateflow code. And I think especially model complexity and metrics to understand the complexity of your model and to reduce copy-paste have been quite favorable feature of MXAM recently from our customer feedback. So I think that's an interesting new check that also covers Stateflow here. But Kai, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about this check.
Yeah, sure. So I think so as well that is a new nice feature, and we'll have a look at the guideline here in the tool. So as you said, regarding model metrics, we know that we have the feature of detecting clone groups in Simulink subsystems and now this can be like an extension that we also have a look at duplicated code in Stateflow charts. And we see here an example in the guidelines so that we want to avoid duplicate Stateflow code. As you know, so these are very inefficient, hard to maintain, and this may also be error prone when you have these copy and paste duplicates. And I have also a report here where you see that we also, similar to the model metrics check, have distinguish between failed and warning. So because these duplicated code are weighted with a severity, and here we have a higher severity with the duplicated code one term in this state, and we have the other one in this. So quite a bunch duplicated code, and we also have some with less severe duplicated code in other charts, and these limits or thresholds for the severity can be customized, such as the limits for the MXAM checks.
Mm-hmm. So, basically, copy-paste, unfortunately, is quite a thing amongst not only software developers, but I think we come across these things quite often. So, duplicated code segments basically also bloat up your code eventually in the end, right? So basically, it's really a goal to try to reduce these things. So when we have a check for that now, and you explained a little bit about the severity, so what is severity here for that check? Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about that.
So this depends on several parameters, like how often is the code duplicated, how big is the duplicated code, and also we also detect when there are kind of assignments which may be a little bit different. So this also counts into this severity. So, but more or less, so the how often is the code duplicated and how big is the duplicated code. So these plays the major role in this severity.
Okay, I understand. So the more code parts you copy, the worse it is, obviously.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very nice. And then I guess there is some idea behind what the number is, but of course, probably as the other metrics checks, there's a parameter, I assume, that could be adjusted in case customer want to value severity in a different way, right?
Yeah, for sure. So it's similar to these from the MXAM model metrics checks, where we have an upper bound passed and an upper bound warning, which can be customized according to your needs and your project.
All right. I'm really looking forward on how this check plays out. So I think we also want to encourage our customers who run this check for the first time on their Stateflow projects and may find quite a lot of duplicated code to also give us some feedback on how the check works for you and also what you think about the classification of severity. I think that's good to have some feedback from the field as well. And we're happy to learn a bit more on how to help you with adjustments on that check, right? Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Great. Well, that's a really nice start for the latest features. So we just continue with the next part, and that is an improved handling of AUTOSAR layers. And I mean, I know that AUTOSAR is basically a software architectural standard for automotive software, which somehow defines the model architecture and model structure. Which would also mean that some of the model structure are part of AUTOSAR architecture and therefore shouldn't be changed or analyzed, right? And that's why now, or that's why there is a way on how to configure your analysis that this requirement is fulfilled.
Yeah, so that's exactly the case. So for instance, also when you you have the availability to generate the model from an AR XML file, and these generated part which you are not really developed by yourself, so should not be taken into consideration in your analysis. So quite similar when you want to ignore a plant model from your analysis. That you really don't want to, and even also for one-time purposes don't need to analyze these generated parts. You have now the availability in the analysis parameter, a global parameter called analyze AUTOSAR runnable subsystems only. And when this is set to true, we can see it as an example from a AUTOSAR target link model that we only have the runnables here, controller runnable and position linearization runnable in the analysis here.
Oh, nice. So that can be really nicely seen at a structural overview where we actually follow the model structure and
and this artifact navigation part.
Great. I think that's really a good way to adapt to AUTOSAR models and make it really easy to focus on the important question of the analysis. Great. Well, then let's just continue with the last highlight that we want to talk about today. And that is in general an increased robustness of model element links. And as far as I understood, this feature is that once you have an analysis, you probably don't have just one finding. So most likely an analysis result is quite a complex thing. You probably have a lot of findings from different guidelines. And of course, when you start fixing the model, you need to make sure that you still find all the elements that are faulty in the model. And that's why, of course, we have model element links in the reports and also in the tool so you can find them. But Kai, I think there's probably some challenge that we had to look at in order to restore all these model element links when you start repairing parts of the model, right? So what's that about?
Yeah, so as an MXAM user may know, that you do not only have may have quite a number of findings in your model, but even maybe also on the same model element. And now, we have also different use cases. So how to get your model guideline compliant. So you may take the automatic repair action, for instance, or fix things manually. And when you do this step by step, this may also then the case that you repair or manually change a model element more than one time. And for all these use cases, so we increase the robustness of the model element links so that they are also valid even after you kind of like 3-time fixing some model element there. And also for the use case, like when you make a pause in between fixing the model, that when you're reloading the report, so that these model element links also are still valid after you reloaded the report there.
Yeah,
so really to support and have a higher usability in this approach to fix your model or to get your model guideline compliant step by step.
Right. I think because also this is the recommended way from us, or our recommendations on how to actually get your model or to fix your model by walking through step by step through the findings. Maybe if I just can try to clarify by a small example. So we know that there are guidelines for naming conventions, for example, that forbid certain characters or enforce other types of characters. And that usually is an automated repair action, or it can be an automated repair action. So let's assume you have a block that doesn't fulfill the naming convention, so we fix it. But that block may have also some other finding from some other guidelines. So maybe some of the data types are not correct or whatever. So now, of course, we need to make sure that we still find the model, this model element or this block, even with a slightly different name. And this is maybe one of the examples. There can be probably different ones.
Yeah, that's quite a good example. Yeah.
Right. Great. So just to show that that really can happen throughout the repair. And I think it's a really good feature that the model element links stay valid even after these kind of fixings. So it makes it just easier to continue with your repair.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Great, Kai. Well, I think that was a really nice overview for the latest release, the 9.2. So thank you so much for joining me today and showing us some more details. And of course, the release is out. The tool update newsletter has been sent. But if you did not receive that update, please contact us under our email or through our website if you want to learn more, or you would like to have the latest release, or even a demo version of the Model Examiner. Kai, it was a pleasure having you here, and see you soon for our next release, which is in autumn, sooner than we think.
Thank you, Jan, and thank you all for listening.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day.
Goodbye.